You're a
मेरा
bit.
फोन है वो कर
यूजिंग कंप्यूटर
नहीं जानता
ये म्यूट म्यूट कहाँ से हो म्यूट
ये mute.
ये बस ठीक
You're a bit.
नहीं जानता
ये म्यूट म्यूट कहाँ से हो
ये mute.
बस ठीक
You're a bit.
ये म्यूट म्यूट कहाँ से हो बस ठीक
You're a bit.
ये म्यूट म्यूट कहाँ से हो बस ठीक You're a bit.
I can see that majority of us have this undefined patriotism for this country, which reaches its peak whenever we have a cricket match, a political drive to make this country more progressive, or have a session or a reunion like this when we are here together for a cause. So let's take a moment to recall our faith in this country, our struggles to make this more progressive. Let's rise for the national anthem. Let's sing it together. Let's remember and recall our faith. Let's just focus on each and every word of it, and let's sing it together. Thank you so much, everyone. Without taking any further time, I would like to introduce President, Internet Society Islamabad chapter, Mr. Waqas Hassan, who has been associated with the chapter for over 4 to 5 years now. He will share some brief input about what our chapter activities, what the chapter is all about, and our objective of gathering today, and a bit of the agenda and details about the forum itself. Waqas, please.
Thank you for taking the time out on a work day and coming together for this very important forum that is very close to our chapter. So those of you who do not know about Internet Society, I'd just like to reiterate a few things. Internet Society is a global non-profit organization based in the US. It has presence in over 110 countries. It basically works in 3 areas, which is the internet policy development, internet capacity building, and also the internet standards. We are in Islamabad, the only chapter of Internet Society in Pakistan. What does a chapter do? A chapter is a volunteer arm of Internet Society. So the global vision of Internet Society, which promotes an open and inclusive internet, that is what we try to do over here in Pakistan. And we are thankful to all of you for being here, for being a part of the Internet Society, and for being with us in whatever initiative that we take. At the very outset, I'd like to especially thank 2 people. First of all, Mr. Mudassar, member telecom from the Ministry of IT. So your presence here signifies the patronage of the government of Pakistan for this cause that we are here together for. Secondly, to Internet Society itself, thank you for providing the funds, for providing the guidance to put this together over here in Islamabad. A very special thanks. More participants. It's not just us here. There are many people connected online with us as well, and some of them I think forgot to mute their mics. But anyways, all part of the game. This is how internet goes. Anybody sitting from anywhere can participate over here. So this is one of the things that one of the beauties of the internet. So as I was saying, special thanks to our fellows from the regional countries, Romkan from Nepal, Sagarika from Sri Lanka, and Shamana from Afghanistan, who have traveled all the way to be here in Islamabad and talk about this important topic and what is happening in their country regarding digital accessibility. So I'd just like to share a few things about why we thought that this forum should be held. As you are all aware that Pakistan is going through a digital transformation phase at the moment. We are embracing the fruits of mobile broadband revolution. Of course, the biggest credit to this goes out to the government, who has been rolling out right policies and implementing them so that a platform is available for everybody to share what they have. And the baseline of everything is an idea. If you have an idea about anything, internet enables you to do what you want to do. So now that we are going through this phase where we're seeing the influx of new technologies, new apps, new services, we are seeing the fruits of entrepreneurship coming into the play. I think this digital transformation should be all inclusive. And when I say all inclusive, it means that part of our society which is differently able should also be able to make use of this, not just to access the internet, but to also become self-sustainable. This is the beauty of internet, that it provides you an opportunity to work from home, to work for home, to work from anywhere and to earn, and also to share what you think about the society in general. So, so this forum, in Pakistan there have been many initiatives for persons with disabilities. Internet Society Islamabad chapter, we have also been a part of those initiatives. For example, in last time around, we had the Pakistan Mobile App Awards in conjunction with PTA and other partners. It was an event where many of us came together and we provided a chance to connect with the software community, the developers, with the needs of the persons with disabilities. So that was one of the marquee events that we did. Also, we are also part of the ISOC accessibility working group that rolls out recommendations to the government of Pakistan for how to empower the person with disabilities. And thanks to everyone's efforts, not just in the society Islamabad chapter's efforts, that we have a dedicated section for the digital accessibility of persons with disabilities in the national digital Pakistan policy that was rolled out last year. So these are a little bit of the background about how this event was conceived. So once we thought that in Pakistan so many things are happening, what is happening in the region? What is happening in South Asia? If we become particular about it. So our fellows from South Asia will share about their experience, what is happening in their countries. It's not just Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Afghanistan. We also have remote speakers from India and Bangladesh. Plus, of course, Pakistan's case studies will also be presented. And what we're trying to achieve here is that something which could be done on a regional level. We are looking forward for collaboration, partnerships, for hands coming together so that we produce a synergistic kind of an effect where we can move forward and do something more for the person with disabilities. I see a lot of stakeholders here in the room, which is a very encouraging sign for a volunteer organization like us to keep doing things like this in the future and to bringing more people together. If you want to reach out to us, we are available through our website. We are available through our membership. If you're not a member, please become our member. You will have many benefits out of it. If you think you have an idea which can work for a person with disability, the digital accessibility, or in general about internet and its reach, you can reach out to us. We also have fellowships and grants opportunities starting from $3,000 up to $30,000. So all you have to bring to the table is an idea, a solution, and we can of course partner with you and this will come forward. So with this, we are already running a little short on time. So thank you all again for being here. And we look forward to a great and healthy discussion during the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Waqas. Just to add, the membership is absolutely free of cost. You can just log into our website, become a member. We already have over 1,000 members, and you will see most of them are active. And I see many faces, many new female members here today. So if you are not a member already, this is the right time to become a member. Waqas again for highlighting the initiative itself, talking about PWD and Indian society's efforts for that. Our next speaker is very special to us. He is the member board of directors of ISOC Islamabad chapter. Has been associated with the chapter for over 6-7 years. Professionally, he's the research in the domain of strategic studies and pursuing his PhD in international relations. So he's working in the domains of international relations and internet governance and has numerous publications in the same domain. Apart from this, he has been part of the Digital Pakistan 2018 policy on behalf of PWDs. He worked with many other representatives and led a working group particularly on this object, on this particular agenda. He's a member of several organizations, namely IPSA, ICWA, Pakistan School on Internet Governance, Steering Committee, and a member of multi-stakeholder group of Pakistan Internet Governance Forum. I would like to invite Mohammed Shabbir Awan, our board member. Is he involved? Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Subra. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and assalamu alaikum. First of all, let me take a moment to thank the presentation from Ministry Authority, Mr. Mudassar. Thank you very much for being with us, for cooperating with us at Islamabad chapter. Special thanks to our friends from abroad, from Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, and Iran. Some of you have been for the first time in Pakistan, so welcome Islamabad, welcome to Pakistan. I hope you have a nice journey, nice stay here. Particular special thanks to our friends who took the time just to participate in this event. And this event is very significant when we see that digital is the name of the game in these days. And if you see the most lucrative jobs that are available in today's industry is those jobs related to the technology, engineering, mathematics, and of course digital domains. And somehow there is some stigma or sort of disappointment that we see that there aren't any more persons with disabilities in these domains. And there is a very specific reason that there could be societal reason, there could be social reason, and to make the internet and digital divide, digital technology accessible for everyone. And when we talk that about us, without us is the directions or the policies. Those should be made about the person with disabilities and their needs without the consultation of person with disabilities. And for the first time back in 2016 and 17, I suppose government of Pakistan had the right idea to involve the person with disabilities
in the discussions actually happening for the policy and for the future. So talking about this today's event, first we need to see our region, which is the South Asian region, and the speakers, those we would be having in the later sessions today. I will not talk much about those countries, but we need to see the dynamics of these countries. So if we see that there are this makes about 1/5 of the humankind of the total world population, which is about 9 to 10 billion, according to the latest stats. So this population is very huge. And if we see the dynamics, because I am a student of international relations as well. So this region is conflict prone. It is internally disconnected. It's not as connected as other regions or other parts of the world are. So we need to be more connected and interconnected amongst ourselves and from within. And then there are conflicts happening in these surroundings. So if we see the stats about person with disabilities, so the World Bank and the World Health Organization, their stats say that about 10 to 15% of the world population consists of person with disabilities. So this is a very large human capital. You see the dynamics, socio-economical and the societal dynamics in our region. And then you see that you have about 10 to 15% of people who are living some sort of impairment, and due to the barriers in the society, they are made disabled. So you are left with two options. One is to make themselves enable, those 10 to 15% of the people enable, so that they are able to earn their livelihoods, they are able to become a part or productive part of the society and contribute to the socio-economic development. And the other option that you are left with is you left them on their own. And this results in the poverty, in the lot of, I should say, the underground activities, the criminal markets, etc., etc. There are a lot of social evils that may get birth from just because there aren't any social economical activities in these. So you have to really provide for these 10 to 15% of the people, or suffer the consequences that your society may have. So to me, as a person with disability, not just person with disability, but as a person who thinks about the future and what this future holds for us in the nations, in the community of nations. And when you strive to develop and when you strive to become a progressive nation, you really cannot leave these people behind. So if you want to promote and if you want to progress in the community of nations, you have to have these people on board, and it gives the economic and business case as well. Because if the person with disabilities, or the 10 to 15% of the population that I just talked about, if they are able to contribute to the society, they are your human capital. And I would just like to take advantage of the Mr. Mudassar's presence here. I have a small sort of grudge with the government, and this relates to the recently formed task force that was formed by the Prime Minister to implement the IT and telecom. We see there are a lot of persons and they are very eminent. I am not saying that they are not important. They are very significant and they have a lot of experience under the belt. But again, I come to my earlier point that nothing about us without us. This policy carries a complete chapter that talks about the digital accessibility for persons with disabilities. And the annexure that is included in the policy about the implementation and tasking of the policy, it also refers to persons with disabilities. In the objectives, the policy also refers to persons with disabilities. But when there is this task force, I am not questioning, and I would not dare to question their integrity and their honesty. But what I can say it with 100% certainty, that they would not be able to rightly judge because they do not suffer from the disability. So this task force does not have a representation from the side of persons with disabilities. It would have been much better if our this task force could have included persons with disabilities and their representation as well. And I hope that this oversight, I should say, this would be corrected somewhere down the line. Or at least when the task force is making some sort of action plan on the policy, though that task force would at least consult with persons with disabilities that what is required here. Let me reiterate here once again that it is not just the internet that is to be accessible, that is to be made accessible. It's not just the website. It's the everything. I should say, if you are in an elevator and it is there displayed, the numbers are displayed. The numbers can be spoken as well. It needs to be made accessible. If you are using a thumbprint machine, which you have to biometrically identify yourself with, if it has a screen, it can speak as well. It can be included. There should be manufactured assistance or facilities within the machines to make that machine accessible for persons with visual impairment. If there is some spoken script that can be translated into sign language, so that should be available for person with hearing impairment. And then there are some platforms. Let me give you just one example here. And I am also aware of the short time that we have. We are already running short of time. But we need to see there is this new trend for the last 5 or 6 years or so in our region of ride hailing. So in Pakistan and in our region, we have like 2 major services which are running ride hailing cab services. One is Uber and the other is Careem. So if you see the platform of Uber, it is pretty more accessible as compared to the platform of Careem. And I say this is not because one was developed in Europe and one was developed in UAE. It is because of the policies and the geographic regions where they operate. Because Uber would not be allowed to operate in United Kingdom if it is not accessible. So it comes from United Kingdom. It has to make its platform accessible for persons with disabilities. Then and only then it would be allowed to operate in United Kingdom. As compared to Careem, it comes from United Arab Emirates, Arab world. It has some good policy measures as well, but as of my information, it has no restrictions or no conditions for making these platforms accessible for persons with disabilities. So it carries certain issues with it. Here I also need to talk about some instruments of the in the international domain that our governments, and when I say our governments, I should mention here that all of the governments that are represented in this forum, like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, Nepal, have signed or ought to sign. First one is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So this convention basically changes the approach from every other approach and turns this to human-based social approach to issue or to resolve the issues of persons with disabilities. And our governments have signed and ratified it. So it is a kind of, now it is binding on these governments to make these digital technologies accessible for persons with disabilities. And then there is SDGs. So it has a very catchphrase like statement, leave nothing behind, or nobody behind. So if you don't want a person to leave behind, you have to make all those facilities available for those persons. And digital technology again is one of the main things that needs to address there. Then there is Marrakesh Treaty, and most of the governments they have signed this Marrakesh Treaty. Marrakesh Treaty basically is a treaty that omits or that sort of relaxes the conditions, copyright conditions for persons with print disabilities on the printed material. So if two countries have signed this treaty, the books made accessible for persons with disabilities in one country can be shared with the person with print disabilities in another country. So this is very big instrument if we want to make education accessible for persons with disabilities. And Pakistan and I know Nepal and Bangladesh, they are not signatory of this treaty. So I would highly recommend that the governments of our countries should really need to sign this treaty. Then there is Indian strategy. Indian strategy is the strategy for Asia Pacific, and it brings the Asia Pacific countries together to make their issues resolved. So I should say that this kind of multilateral or regional instruments also need to address the issues of persons with disabilities. So we have like this sort of arrangements. We have SARC, we have ECO, we have other organizations, SEO, etc., etc. So these organizations should also sort of think about persons with disabilities and a very large number of the populations that live in their countries. Ladies and gentlemen, in the end, as a person with disability, I am asked this question very often, that what is the way forward? And to me, the way forward is, and I'm also asked by the person with disabilities, they ask me that the governments, they do not listen to us, and the policy and the people in power, really they are empathic. They are sometimes they give sort of attraction to persons with disabilities and their issues, but it is not to solve the problems, but it is some sort of charity measures. So I call this charity measures. I say this no to this approach, because you cannot resolve the issues of persons with disabilities in the nation and in the states just because you do some charity work. It's not a charity work, it's a duty, and these persons with disabilities are human with rights, and they have the same and similar rights as any other person would. So these issues cannot be resolved, and the advice that I give to persons with disabilities is that they should stick firm in their stance, and they should remain persistent, because it's also said that in confrontation between the stream and the rock, the stream always wins, but through persistence. So we need to remain persistent in our stance and in our desire and will to become an active part of the society. Ladies and gentlemen, in the end, I also have to thank every one of you in this hall for joining us this morning and this afternoon. And would like you to really think about the issues and the questions that are being discussed here. And here, I would say you should not be because it would not just be like sessions that speaker would be coming here and they would be speaking. You would also get some chance to raise questions. So you should be raising questions, whatever you have in your mind. If you have some solutions, you should put forth. If you have some question, you should put forth so that we can really, in a constructive and open manner, discuss the issues and then try to find the solutions. I would end that we need to ensure that accessibility is the rule rather than an exception in the design, development, and implementation of technology for persons with disabilities. And only then we can make a truly inclusive society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shabbir. I second your stance on the person with disabilities. Obviously, this is a very large segment, and if we have to move towards a better and progressive Pakistan, obviously we cannot ignore this segment. Secondly, about the task force and your reservations, I absolutely agree. But on the other hand, being part of the ecosystem, have been engaging with the task force members and volunteers and different committees in past few weeks, I have seen them very engaging, very proactive, and they all have been available all the time. Be it your concerns, reservations, any comments, or any interventions in the policy itself. It's an honor for us, in fact, and it's good to have a good representation from ministry today, from government sector, from person with disabilities community, and then from private sector as well. There are a couple of corporates who are working extensively for these people, and we truly acknowledge and appreciate their efforts. So moving on, I would like to invite our very special guest for the day. He's a world-class services executive known for his efforts in delivering high-value services for the telecom industry. Being an expert in telecom policy, IT, strategic formulation, and tech research, he has extensive management and consultative background. Prior to joining Ministry of IT and Telecom, he has been he was a telecom policy and regulatory consultant, and being there as director, he served on the board of National Telecom Corporation, the Telecom Foundation, and National Radio Telecom Corporation. Our very special guest, Mudassar, Hussain, holds a degree from North Carolina A&T State University and a bachelor's degree from NWFB. I would like all of you to raise any concerns, any comments. This is a platform to talk to a representative from Ministry of IT and Telecom, but once he's done with his session. So feel free to ask any question after the end of this. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Mudassar.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having us here and starting off with a very, very pertinent questions. First of all, I would like to thank Internet Society, Naveed, and others, and Shabbir Saab, and for thinking that at least in Pakistan there's an issue that people think that government will not do anything. So that thought that they will not do just leaves a lot of measures that can be taken to the side. So first of all, thanks for being inclusive yourself, and surely this kind of forum, personally, professionally, morally, means a lot to us. Nobody can escape that this, what you call, Shabbir Saab, 10-15% in every society. This is where the test of the nation is. that you can do quite a few things for the larger mass of your population, but how much you care for the segment and how much you want to take everybody along. This is the test of the society, the state, and the nation. So thank you for guiding us, for inviting the attention over and over. And I don't know anybody who would not agree more to whatever you have already said. Starting from our perspective, Ministry of IT, the role of Ministry of IT comes in the context of what technology has enabled to bridge this divide. For the first time in history, globally, there's a chance of true inclusiveness for all the disadvantaged segments, including persons with disabilities, to reduce all sorts of inequalities, as SDG number 10 of the UN SDGs has mandated to reduce inequalities. First time in history we have a chance, because there is a global connectivity, there's a ubiquitous coverage, there is a real chance with technologies like virtual reality, sensors, advanced, that we bring all segments into the mainstream, not only just for the purpose of uh, providing information, but for actually providing tools to each of these segments to perform the economy, for the economy, to perform for the society, and to be a real part, not just to be counted as a part of the society, but to actually perform for it. So, as we all know, in Ministry of IT, we have been in the process of over the last few years formulating policy, the integrated telecom policy. Then we had a marathon uh, discussions and engagements for forming what we call the Digital Pakistan policy, and we have the honor of having the community here, helped by PTA, helped by ISOC, to engage the very differently abled people that we have here. We've had them in our journey to formulate the Digital Pakistan policy at that time. And as rightly mentioned, we do have certain provisions, and most important of all is that no policy work will be done, or no implementation, no technology implementation will be done without catering to the needs of this segment. So that actually forms a basis of what we believe in regarding this segment. So staying within the domain of helping technology, what we have seen over the recent past is greater focus from our telco partner, telco industry, greater focus from our software community, uh, greater local activity in development of solutions. We've seen many. We've heard a mention of the app competition we had. They were very, very wonderful. A few products over there I've personally seen. Uh, enabled wheelchairs, enabled helmets, and all that sort of thing being locally developed. So not only when it was rightly pointed out that uh, we totally must not consider this effort anybody makes as a charity in this. This is absolutely essential. This is not charity, and just because Pakistani nation and we largely in the region have a very generous heart and contribute hugely to charity. Some of that thought has to be structured into real ongoing continuous policy measures to bring into the mainstream all of these, not as a CSR for the corporate, not as a charity for the person, but as a basic component of state policy. This making segment that you said. We are happy that we put together, the Prime Minister had the vision to include everybody, include larger segments into the policy making for the new government that we have. Although we have Digital Pakistan policy, but surely it is now time to implement that and to suggest measures and for implementation. And this is exactly why this task force was constituted by the Prime Minister. It does have a diverse representation, but you are right in pointing out. Actually, at the topmost level, the size of the task force or to have any focused work also matters. But what we have done here is that the task force has created its subgroups, and the subgroups can incorporate people from different segments, or they can engage on a specific subject on a specific day with the with that segment. So if somebody is not represented, what I've been told here is that the IT subgroup of the task force, they have been engaging with people who represent this industry, or who have an interest in any businesses in this segment. So what I would do is I would, being a member of the task force, recommend to the task force to actually consider either inclusion of a single representative, consensus representative, into the IT subgroup, or to have an exclusive session to get the policy recommendations from this side. So well received and well appreciated. We'll do our best to remove this impression that persons with disabilities are not represented. Coming to the actual policy measures, some of the measures we had in Digital Pakistan policy, but very rightly pointed out that with the example of Uber and Careem, the ride-hailing services, a reference about their origins. One was originated in the West, where there's a larger focus, a bigger focus on this. But and then about Careem, surely it's not just about Uber and Careem. Whatever we do, whatever facility is available to the society, everybody has an equal right on it. And these are exactly the same the policy measures that probably in this session from today, what we will do is we'll gather some recommendations, some suggestions for the policy, for the task group from today's session, and then we can further have a presentation from your side. So all of these measures that can ensure that whatever application or service is available online to normal people will be available. So feel free. I hope that we'll have some tangible compilation of few policy steps after today, and we can build on that. Going to the third area that was touched upon is diplomatic transnational treaties. We heard a mention of Convention on PWDs and the Marrakesh Treaty and the Incheon Strategy. Surely being a part of multilateral arrangements serves two purposes. It shows the resolve and the commitment of the government itself, first to the subject, and then it enables a monitoring and evaluation, a reporting which binds you to produce certain results. So in my personal opinion, I've worked on several different multinational treaties, and Pakistan case for joining them. Personally, I would also recommend that on the whole, out of all of these three, any subset or all of them, it's worth the diplomatic effort and the effort that goes into it to join these. So largely, there is no difference of opinion. There must be not even be difference of approach. since social inclusion and social cohesion and integration is directly not the subject of Ministry of IT, but for our part, because the internet, because the technology, because the policy that we make ensures uh, outreach and coverage and accessibility to everybody. So within that context, in the whole scenario, we surely will play our part to do better than before and to include everybody in this. And surely in the end, I would like to again thank the organizers, ISOC, your chapters, volunteers, people, our colleagues, everybody who's present here. And I would request that you consider government to be a useful part of these discussion rather than just ceremonial invites. So I hope that we all feel a part of each other together, and this is how we are going to move this society forward. Thank you very much. I see a hand raised. Are we? I'm open to take any questions. I don't know what your format allows.
This is Zishan. I'm cybercrime lawyer. I have a question for you. It's our constitutional right to have full rights in this country because Constitution is the supreme law. So Constitution has mentioned we have the equal rights to access everything in Pakistan, which is legal. So I think so internet is a legal thing. So can you please let me know what are the steps you are taking for PWDs because you have the chapter in your ministry, and what is your agenda for next 5 years, or is there anything going on the table? So I'm just interested because I have listened Shabbir Saab, so I'm really interested to listen to that. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the question. I've tried to respond to particularly the 3 areas that Shabbir Saab has mentioned in his. Surely, to begin with, we must admit that what has not been happening right. There are rights. Obviously, there is no question about constitutional rights, and we all believe in them, and we all. But what I wanted to emphasize here is that whatever work on social inclusion of persons with disabilities was there previously, we now have a real chance using technology to actually have an inclusion. First, it was just, on some cases, it was a part of CSR, in some cases, it was a part of some good photo op opportunities. But for the first time, we have it. We've had the provisions in Digital Pakistan policy that I have here. Feel free to go to Ministry's website to implement that in true letter and spirit. We have a mention of that in our telecom policies for the industry, and we expect fora like today to advise us, and that's why there was a mention of task force, because task force is going to present some measures to the top level government, to the Prime Minister himself, that a set of measures that will have to be mandated across the board. What Ministry of IT right now does can issue a policy to PTA or a FAB or other relevant authorities, but when it comes from the topmost level, from the cabinet, surely those policies have a broader coverage. Everybody has to follow, be it provinces, be it federal. So that is the vehicle to implement those. And, in this process, feel free if you have any measures that will ensure this constitutional right, we'll be happy to receive and happy to get approved. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Please do. Yeah.
Somebody wanted to ask some questions. If you have any, please raise your hand. Else, we'd like to move to a networking break. So, Mudassar, we have a very small token of appreciation for you. I'd like to invite Waqas, our president, to please